What's up, guys? Good morning. Monday morning, could be afternoon or evening, wherever you're watching this. Eric here with driverlineup.com. Check it out. There's a new version of it, driverlineup.com. We have almost 500 current, past, and future prime drivers on our social app. It is amazing. And Remy here. So, world's okayest steering wheel holder. Checking in with you guys. Just woke up, so I'm actually going to be driving in the middle of the day here for a couple hours, just because I feel like it. We got like 170 miles to go to get to Dodge City. I made it out of that blizzard. That blizzard was, I don't know if they're on the signs on this interstate on 70, it said extreme winter weather. I don't know if they're calling it a blizzard, but I can tell you right now, what I drove through at midnight last night was blizzard conditions. No freaking doubt about it. It was just a war, and it was really heavy, wet snow coming out of Denver. So it just, caked the windshield wipers. It caked my headlights, so I had to pull over twice and just wipe my headlights off because it was just that really heavy, wet snow. So, and we had an empty trailer, so it was, it was fun. There were not a lot of trucks driving in it. There was not a lot of anything driving in it. It wasn't chains required or anything, so my objective was just to get the hell out of there and stay ahead of the snow, which we've barely done. So I got far enough ahead of it to where I could pull off into a rest area just across in Kansas this morning and get some good parked sleep, because we have until tonight to get this load in Dodge City. So we got up. Jenna drove us to this Petro, which you guys know Petro in Colby, Kansas is amazing. It has two of our favorite things. Jenna's is Starbucks. Mine is Qdoba. Well, Chipotle, Qdoba, Moe's. If there's a Chipotle, Qdoba, or Moe's, I'm going. I'm all about a good burrito bowl. So she drove us over here. We're gonna get lunch. She's gonna get coffee. And then my clock comes back in like 30 minutes. So I'm gonna drive down to Dodge City just because I feel like it. I feel like I don't know. She could drive it, of course. It is starting to snow, which she can drive in snow. It's not gonna be crazy. But I just feel like driving it. So I'm gonna drive down there. And then we'll be able to drop this trailer off. There's a pet store there we're gonna go to. Walmart we're gonna go to, and then we'll go park for probably about 10 hours and wait for this load, maybe a little more, wait for this load to be ready, and then head on to PA. So I got asked, you guys are coming up with some good ones, man. Got questions last week asked about the PRO Act. You guys know my position on that. Adamantly opposed. And I don't even want to get into some of the absolutely insulting comments. One or two that were absolutely insulting on that. That's for another. Don't tell me that I don't know that I'm being robbed and ripped off by a mega carrier. That's insulting. You don't tell someone who's making very good money, will make over $10,000 in these 2 weeks. Don't tell me that I'm just ignorant and I don't know that I'm being ripped off and that this PRO Act legislation is going to help me and take care of me because I'm just not smart enough to know that I'm being ripped off. Are you effing kidding me? Anyway, I said I was going to talk about it later. So one of the messages I got was my thoughts on this truck driver who's being charged for hitting the trooper, totaling this trooper's car, injuring some people on the side of a highway. It was down in Polk County, I believe, in Florida, I think. I'll link to a video about it below in the description if you guys haven't heard about it. So apparently it's very controversial. From what I've been able to find, what happened was, first of all, it's hard for us. I'm not going to tell you. The question was, do you think the driver was in the right or the wrong? I'm not going to tell you if I think the driver is in the right or wrong, because I don't know. I wasn't there. I haven't seen a police report. I don't know all the circumstances. But from what we know, what happened was a big truck driver was in the right lane. There was some sort of unrelated incident on the shoulder, and there was one trooper there attending to that, and there was another trooper behind that trooper's vehicle, and the second trooper, which it seems that they're admitting that this happened. The second trooper, he's finished, he's not needed there anymore, or whatever that may be. He's in the shoulder, parked with his lights on, and with his lights on, pulls out into the right lane in front of this semi-truck. And of course, the semi-truck just absolutely wiped out this cruiser, or whatever you want to call them, slammed it into the other police vehicle. There's mayhem and chaos, just spinning out of control. One of the civilians was injured. I think one of the police officers was injured. Nobody was killed, fortunately. And the truck driver is being charged. Now, because the truck driver is being charged, it leads me to believe that he probably could have moved over to the left. Because I had not even heard of this story until someone asked me my opinion on it. So I had to do a little research. And if they're charging him, I would think that there's witnesses and there's, saying that he could have moved over. I don't know that, though. You don't know that either. We weren't there. Of course, Florida is very strict on its move over laws. So, is it again, it's hard to say who's at fault. I do wonder why the trooper pulled out in front of the truck. I'm not saying I'm not saying I believe that should alleviate the truck driver from any liability. I'm just saying, and again, this is kind of armchair quarterbacking because none of us were there. To me, though, I have to wonder, what the hell were you thinking? If you are a law enforcement officer, and some of you guys are former law enforcement officers, so if you're watching this, I know some of my subscribers are, I know some Prime drivers are, I know some Prime students are former law enforcement. I would love to know your thoughts on this. In all the stories I'm reading on this, I'm trying to figure out how the hell the trooper or highway patrol or whatever you want, I'm not exactly sure which they are. Why would you pull out into the lane when it's obvious that it should be obvious that there's a truck and trailer hauling right at you in the right lane? So it's, from what we know, again, we weren't there, from what they're releasing, it seems to me that there might be some liability on both sides, but I don't know. It's also possible that there was a vehicle in the other lane and the driver could not move over. But again, I think because there's actually charges being pressed, or they're about to file charges against the truck driver, I would imagine that he probably could have moved over, and that was obvious. I would hope they're not going to press charges on him if he couldn't move over. Because sometimes, very rare occasions, but sometimes I get into a bind where I can't move over. Now I can slow way down and I can see it, well in advance. So I'm going to slow way down. But there's certain circumstances where, everybody on the left is just being a complete asshole. knowing full well that there's a hazard ahead and not, not helping you get over, that circumstance definitely occurs. But we don't know. They're not saying that. They're not saying that that's the case. So we just don't know. But from what I know, in answer to the question, from what we know, from what's been released, it feels like there's probably should be some liability on both sides. I think from what I've seen, the trooper or the law enforcement officer probably just misjudge, misjudge the fact that truck and trailer were bearing down in that right lane. Probably thought or assumed that the driver was all the way over in the left lane, rolls out into the right lane, and they're trying to say, well, he had his lights on, and it's like, okay, but just playing devil's advocate here, if you're at 80,000 pounds, even if you slow down to 40-50 miles per hour, if it doesn't matter whether there's lights on or not, if some vehicle pulls out right in front of you, you're gonna cream that vehicle. If you can't get over to the left, you're going to hit that vehicle. That's my thoughts. So I don't know. Should the truck driver be charged and lose his or her career, and face even potentially worse circumstances? No idea. I cannot answer that question. It's a shitty situation. Shitty for those involved, on the side of the road, shitty for the officers, shitty for the truck driver, shitty for everybody. It's just a terrible situation. So anyway, all right, guys, Jenna's coming out here with Qdoba, so I'm about to eat, and then we're gonna get moving on to Dodge City and go chill out there for the evening. We may do a live this evening together, so watch for that if it does occur. Be safe, guys. Make good decisions. Always drive to thrive. We'll talk to you soon.